Hey everyone, welcome. Great to have you here. Welcome to Woven Church. And I'm glad to say for any first-time people or any people that have been here forever, that you're welcome, no matter what your socioeconomic background is, no matter what your ethnicity or race, no matter your sexual orientation or your gender identity. We're just glad you're here. And you're completely not only accepted, but celebrated, just as you are. Glad to have a full band here today. Guests and friends both alike. And with that, we will turn it over to one of you.
Oh, I think the one of me is of us is me. Wow, words are difficult. So this service is going to be a little bit different. The theme is doubt, and we were asked to choose some songs that kind of represent that for us. And I chose "Fine Line" by Harry Styles because that is who I am. This song for me has meant a lot over the years, and it's kind of taken on its own persona in every season of my life, whether it be before I ever started questioning or doubting God, through some of my good and bad romantic relationships, even about my relationship to myself. This song has meant a lot. And there are certain lines that, when you hear it, it might not sound like a song that's applicable to a person's relationship with God, but it's also not just, the song right now is not just about my relationship with God, but it's also my relationship with the church. So, I hope you enjoy.
Something to hide. You've got my devotion, but man, I can hate you sometimes. I don't want to fight you, and I don't want to sleep in the dirt. So I'll get to thinking of her. We'll be a fine line. 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 ocean, but then I can hit you sometimes. We'll be a fine line. We'll be a fine line. We'll be a fine line. We'll be alright. We'll be alright. We'll be alright. Oh, we'll be alright. We'll be alright. We'll be a fine line.
Growing up in Christianity, I was kind of taught when you're going through something, when you're struggling, when I'm carrying a burden, I could never go to people first. I could never trust people first with that because people are always going to fail me. And God is the only thing that will never fail me. Which is like, fine. It's great until it feels like God does fail you. And then you're kind of just left with, well, or at least I was always left with, well, I don't feel God, I don't feel you, I don't see you, I don't know where you are, I don't know where to turn, but I know what I've always been taught is that I can't turn to anyone else with it. And so that kind of oftentimes leaves me in a place, and I'm learning this, but it leaves me in a place where I will wait forever and ever and just try to hold things in myself before I can ever work up the courage to go to anyone else about what I'm struggling with, what I'm going through. So this next song, it's called Stay Down by boygenius. I think it talks about that really well. And it just reflects a lot of feelings that I've been having towards my relationship with God lately, so, yeah.
Somebody told me that I'd better learn to lean into the punch, so don't hurt us by believe. There you were, turning your cheek. I look at you and you gotta scream. I'm in the backseat of my body. I'm just steering my life in a video game, similar There's so many gay people here. My name is Tiffany, if you did not know, and the song I chose is Long Way From Home by the Lumineers, because, well, once you hear the lyrics, you'll understand why with the following context. Last year, I lost my dad to cancer, and that's true, cancer does suck. Not a fan. 0 out of 10. It was really difficult just watching someone's life slowly fade, like right in front of my eyes, and especially that person being him. And I feel like this song captures that, as well as just, I don't know, I can feel the singer asking why, and not understanding how this is happening, and not wanting them to go, but at the same time knowing they need to so they can stop suffering. And I don't know, on my own journey of deconstruction, I've been like, yeah, why did that happen? My dad was there, but he wasn't really there, you know what I mean? Because emotionally unavailable parent. But when he was there, he was angry. So for a long time, I was hoping like, one day we'll sort things out, one day we'll figure it out, and then that happened, and I feel like I'm left with a bunch of unanswered questions and a lot of things that I don't understand. And that definitely made me doubt God and put it on him that I went through that, and that he went through that. But I don't know. I just think this is a really good song, and thanks for coming to my TIFF talk. Like a rose, like a rose.
Hey everyone, it's I'm glad to have just a moment after the music, just for to let that for the rest of the room. Thank you all of you. Giving us a place to have emotion. Music is one of our best ways of allowing us to have emotion. And so thanks for it. So today, we are in our last of a four-part series on this book, Faith After Doubt. So and we've been talking about the four stages that McLaren talks about. Just so you know, coming up the next 2 weeks, Neve is going to do a two-part series on self-care. And so I think that's going to be just super. So we're all excited about that. That'll be August 6th and 13th, the next 2 Sundays. And this Sunday, Logan and I are finishing up this book, and just to set the stage for it. So we've talked about these four stages that McLaren talks about. The first is simplicity, the second, complexity, the third, perplexity, and the fourth that we're going to talk about today, harmony. Sort of, I think, implied in the title of the book, Faith After Doubt, is the idea that maybe there is faith. Instead of faith after doubt, it's really probably faith in doubt, or faith in the midst of doubt. It's okay if stuff. It's okay if stuff crashes. Do we need to go do a cleanup? So over on cleanup on aisle 4. It's okay. It's all right. Is there any blood involved? No blood? No. Okay. Then we're okay. So while they're cleaning up, we're going to keep talking here. Thanks to those of you online too. This idea of not faith necessarily after doubt is faith in the middle of doubt. Faith in doubt. And in fact, doubt being necessary to move from stage to stage. And last week we talked about this idea of our being sort of a stage 3 church. And I think that's a great place to be. So stage 3 are people that have sort of gone through simplicity and complexity, which is pragmatism. Does your faith work? And have had some kind of crisis, usually. Maybe, I don't know if it's always.
I would say some form of crisis.
Some form of crisis.
I mean, maybe not trauma, but probably some form of mental health crisis in the midst.
Nice. And so you could, that would be kind of fun if we had all of you give a number to how bad your crisis was. Like your crash. So I had a pretty soft landing, Logan had a pretty hard landing. Most of you are probably somewhere in between the two of us.
I would say that's right.
And the point is, without doubt, without that idea of maybe this isn't all true, and being willing to ask the hardest of questions, and to be okay in the middle of the hardest questions, if we're not willing to go there, we're probably not going to be able to get to any place of real, well, I don't know, what we would call a stage 4 faith. any place of, I don't know, because there are a lot of people that have lived in stage 1 and 2, and that was great for them. But we think stage, that it's better to go beyond that.
Oh, yeah. I would say the important part about it is, in stages, is not really thinking about places to arrive to.
Yeah.
Because that's not it. It's really just a state of being, a state of mind, where you are at in your journey. Because otherwise, this stage that he calls harmony, that we're going to talk about, really just becomes a new simplicity.
Right. Yes. That's exactly right. Yeah. And so I don't even know how to talk about this stage. And I don't know if I'm there. I feel a lot in stage 3. And I think most of us would be living in stage 3 in a lot of ways.
Maybe we have some harmony, right?
Right.
We have committed to the value of no dehumanization. We don't
Yes.
want unsafety for people. We want all people to be welcome, and if you're going to discriminate against people. So I think we do have some harmony
That's
as far
right.
as that stance. Our stance is, you belong no matter what. And if you're going to be unsafe to people who we believe belong, which is everyone, then this isn't for you.
Yeah, so it's tricky, right? And actually conservatives will try to trip us up on this. They'll say, yeah, you're receptive to everybody except people like us. And that's true. And the reason is because we are not tolerant of people that are intolerant. And that's actually something that we have to believe. If we're tolerant of the intolerant, then we become, we move towards fascism. And we believe that true tolerance doesn't have room for hate. And so we don't allow hate-filled people to be here.
Right.
We just can't go there.
Another thing I think we're in harmony in is that we don't know, because there's arrogance in it that we've somehow arrived at some place which works completely against harmony. You have to be willing to find rest in tension, meaning something you think so strongly today, you may not think tomorrow. And we have to just wake up and be flexible in that, and be curious and hold in tension everything that we think, so that we can actually be a progressive community.
Yeah, that is so good. That is so good. And that's right. So I will just say one of our key statements that the church sort of runs on, a stream underneath, is that we want to live not out of the arrogance of arrival, but out of the humility of only having just begun. So even if we say that we want to be stage 4 and things, that can only be, if it's humble, only if we recognize that as a beginning point, not as an ending point. Otherwise, it's stage 1, it's arrogance.
Right. Which is the perplexing part of harmony, is there is no arrival spot. There is no whatever our version of a progressive heaven. That's not how it works. It's a continual holding things in tension, seeing our biases, growing. And the tricky part about it is this: when you are committed to perplexity, and you're committed to harmony, you will find that religion's just not a requirement. We get to pick it, but it will not be a requirement of people in these stages. And I think that has a lot to do with the lack of millennial and Gen Z buy-in.
Wow. So say a little more about that.
Yeah. So churches have been wondering, specifically evangelical churches, I should be specific here, but many churches are like, why can't we not appeal to the younger people? How many times have we all heard that phrase? Why can't we get them to give us money? outside of the propagating of the 10% lie, but I'll digress on that point. That has financially ruined many of our families and meant that we didn't get a lot of things and weren't provided for, so that's a bad thing. And really it's that people see, they don't actually feel like they belong to these communities and to these places. There is no genuine harmony for young people in being part of them. They don't feel seen, they don't feel heard, they're told to get in line. And for years I was okay with that.
Yeah, so in this idea, you can't be a part of harmony unless you belong first to yourself, which feels like an oxymoron.
I don't know the best way to get Clay Mike.
Oh, Craig wants to say something?
Yes, but I don't have a way to get away.
Oh,
You have a way. I'm sorry, I wasn't ignoring you. I was like, how do I get my mic around all this?
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I just really wanted to say, that's how work is too. I don't know if anybody else feels that at work. If you're under 40, it's like, you will not be respected, you will not be taken seriously. But a majority of the jobs, especially bigger companies that I've had, like there's a glass ceiling if you're under 40.
And a woman.
Yeah, very true.
That's absolutely true.
To his point though, he's right? Like the whole system we've been put under has been, you climb the corporate ladder, you get in line, you behave, and then eventually, hopefully when you're 50, probably 60, you'll get the good paying job just in time for retirement where you have enough to take out about 20% of your income to try to make it across the finish line. That's the goal, in a real cynical take.
That is cynical. I hope better for all of you.
You know a little bit too much.
I work for corporate America, I do know too much.
Well, then, I mean, I'm gonna go to 70 before I retire because
Right.
I have no money. So maybe I'm really a young person and maybe I'm a millennial in disguise.
But I think that it's this interesting place of like, I think most people would see it like a lot of churches are dying out. We, especially in our area, there's churches on every corner, and there's not a ton of people.
Yeah, and especially of that age group, of the 30s and the 20s, there certainly isn't. Come on. We're gonna just do sort of, you'll just come on up anytime you want to speak and we will go from there.
Yeah, we don't have a good way to pass it today.
Yeah, you said that there was these churches on every corner and there's hardly people in them. I think that another reason that is the case is because we are in a culture of like needing to be independent and self-sufficient.
That's true.
Needing to need anyone is viewed as weakness.
That's true.
So being within the church, you know, you have to admit that you need something in a way. You know, like I need God or I need religion in some capacity, and that's against what our culture is preaching of you can be independent and be totally self-sufficient and not need anybody, and not need community, which is I think what we all really do need. So
Well, I think she brought up a perfect point that harmony actually requires human connection.
Yeah, so sort of by definition, harmony is the melding together of different things. And so tell me, you mentioned this idea of that the place, that sort of the hard part of harmony is that it doesn't need actually religion. So why are we here? What's the deal?
Yeah, in my view, the benefit of being here around the 10,000 I don't knows is this is a really unique and beautiful opportunity for me to see people and create human connections with people that are different than me. We don't all talk the same, we don't all think the same, we all don't view the world the same. And again, we have to go against the independence, which has arrogance in it. And I get an opportunity to just be with people and hear their perspective and grow and change so that I actually find myself in a harmony place, because it's harmony blended with perplexity.
Oh yeah, so maybe not discrete places.
Just come on up, since it's our mindset.
Derek's so embarrassed to be up front.
On the spotlight.
I was just going to say, in a perfect world, religion just puts the practicality to that.
That's true.
In a perfect world, that's what it's supposed to do. It just puts the,
Yes, say more.
like, I don't know if y'all remember when I talked about how religion is just the theatrics of heaven, way back in the day. I don't even know if you were here. But basically, just that, like, religion itself, whether that's any of them, the perfect world of it is harmony. And especially, like, I don't know if y'all know about, like, Judaism, its main thing is shalom, which is peace. And they're, like, all of the laws, all of the whatever was meant to maintain this shalom or harmony or peace between people. So in a perfect world, Christianity would just be a place where peace can be among people. And the religion part of it, the stuff we do, the songs, the things we say, are just practical things to put that on display, I guess. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
But that's just because I'm a high church boy. So.
On church boy, he said.
But we need people like you, because I would be more skeptical than that in nature because of what I've gone through. So I just had to get to connect with Derek on something that would not have been a natural thought for me. I get to hear things from people all the time. The beauty of this and the harmony of this is each of you brings so much value, and we bring value to each other.
Well, what if the New Testament were right when it said we are the body of Christ? Like, what if our relationship with each other is a way of knowing God? What if by knowing Ralph and Matthew, I know God because God is in you? Because so this is John, right, in the gospel. I am in the Father is in me, I'm in you, and you're in me. We're all in each other, you know. I'm not going to repeat that for online. We're just going to do that. This idea, though, of this unity of, not of belief, not a unity of thought, but this unity of the godness, of the beauty. Oh, I like that. What if seeing each other, we see the beauty of God?
Yep.
And I would even say in nature, that we can see the beauty of God, that being with nature is a part of being in the Father or in the Mother, in the Godhead.
And what if this is heaven?
Oh, so Ralph said, what if this is heaven?
Eastern Orthodoxy.
And so,
Let's talk about it.
yeah, you know, Jesus might have even said something like, what if we were to have heaven on earth? Like, what would that be like? Or when he said, the kingdom of heaven is here, at hand, near, and at one point, here. And I used to think that was Jesus saying, the kingdom of heaven is here. But I don't think that's what he was saying. I think he was saying, the kingdom of heaven is here. I think Jesus was saying, you are my body. This is how we know truth, is by not knowing a dogma, but by knowing each other. relationship, by harmony with each other. Again, not harmony of thought, but harmony of I don't know, beauty?
Yeah. Well, and that's where we have to put perplexity in it, right? Because we have the boundaries of, if you are dehumanizing people, there is no harmony and there is no beauty in each other. We're letting dehumanization in, which is how we avoid the dogma, which is why harmony and perplexity cannot be separated.
Yeah, so I think this goes with that. You can tell me if it does. Perplexity, moving into perplexity, is deconstruction, not destructive.
Yeah.
So tell me what that would mean, if that's true.
Yeah, so something I've been learning and processing is like, I kind of felt like I just had to let go of my faith altogether, but that was my deconstruction process. And realizing, learning about perplexity, I realized that I thought I let it all go, but I didn't. I had to let it go so that I could create my own foundation. And you start with, I want to go here, so that you can find peace with God and faith in ways that suit where you're at. It's the doubt process. And it doesn't have to destroy you. If we were sitting with evangelicals, it would be like, no, this is going to destroy you in the foundation of who you are, because they want you to start with thinking the right way.
That's right. Yeah. That is always built on right thought.
Right.
Correct belief. Orthodoxy.
Where who you are right now, knowing that you will likely change tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
Because that's how I feel every day. Like, I feel like I'm just being groomed, and like the best advice I can give is like, don't be afraid of feedback, because it's the best opportunity for growth. Like, hear people.
And I love that as a way of that sort of description of feedback as hear people.
Mm-hmm. Right. You don't take it from cheap seats. You don't just take it from some random Instagram person who's like, I don't agree with you on this. Like that doesn't do anything. It's the people who are, it's what Brene Brown coined from Teddy Roosevelt's speech. It's the people who are in it with you. The people in the arena with you, not the people who are sitting outside of it.
I've heard that you even have gotten grief from things that you've put online.
I have. I have.
Anybody else gotten grief for things they have put online? Yeah, we could spend a whole time probably just talking about that.
Charlie just started dancing.
So, Charlie is one of our most prolific online writers. And
the point of putting it on there is to get the grief.
And so,
A prophet, some would say.
yeah, so the prophet gets grief. But I love that idea of letting go of the grief you get from people that are not in it with you.
Right.
And instead what we do is, the part of our little body of Christ here, is that we want to listen to each other. One of the reasons we have a mic out here for anybody to come up and say something is because this is not a hierarchical church. We're very bad at hierarchy. We don't do it well. And because we don't want to do it. It's not who we want to be. We want to be hearing of each other. And to be in harmony with each other. And, McLaren makes the point that when you're doing harmony things, stage 4 things, you bring in what you've learned in stage 1 and stage 2. So most of us have learned to be nice to each other. What is that? Share. Like, this is what you learned when you're 2, right? You're supposed to share. Well, that's very much a stage 1 kind of idea. We need that in wherever we are. We need the idea of being kind to each other wherever we are. And so it's all of this together that can create a place of true harmony. McLaren, he tried to come up with other words. He did. Do you remember any of them?
No.
I'm not sure where it would be.
I'm pretty sure it's in chapter 8.
Okay. But it's hard to come up with words because there's not a good word. There are different descriptions.
Oh, one of them is truth. One is the very slick word.
Oh man, stage 4 truth. Yeah, that sounds so much like something else.
I'm loud enough.
Well, no,
There
they
was a
can't hear
book-
that mine, and I want to hear.
There was a book several years ago called Everything I Needed to Know. I learned in kindergarten.
Oh yeah, okay. Everything I need to learn, I learned in kindergarten.
And that's true. To
Yeah.
share, to show respect. And you did learn everything you really needed to learn. You did learn in kindergarten. And that was to be nice to one another. To show respect. Not to steal. Not to hit.
Show respect, yeah. And, that's a Ten Commandment thing too. Like, the idea of, we don't want to murder each other. We think that's a bad thing. We don't want to lie to each other unless it's appropriate. We don't want to, all of those kinds of things that we don't want to comment. We want to be generous with each other. All of that kind of stuff that we learn comes into this. And then you add on this joy in each other, and this respect in each other, and this, I don't have the best way. I know that I'm wrong on a bunch of stuff. Most of the stuff. I know I'm wrong. And as a pastor, to say that to a congregation, well, some congregations would appreciate that. Because they want me to tell the truth. I don't know. We're making this all up, right? We're learning as we go. We're learning from each other. I did want to ask this one idea. We've sort of talked about it earlier, but do we need to go through perplexity to get to harmony?
Yes.
Okay.
Because perplexity is where you really realize things don't always add up. Stuff you've been told your whole life, you're like, yeah, that doesn't work anymore. It might have worked when I was 2 or 4 or 6, but it doesn't work anymore. It's perplexities where we realize that sometimes we think differently than how we were taught when we grow up, and we are to build our own tribe, our own people that's separate, and that's hard. And it doesn't mean that there wasn't good or value in engineers. It's perplexed. It just doesn't work now. It doesn't help me now.
I've mentioned this book before, but Falling Upward by Richard Rohr, sort of a companion book almost to this. For Rohr, stages 1 and 2 are sort of Falling Upward is called the 2 stages of life. And it's the descent, the falling, and then the rising. Stage 3 and 4, where perplexity is actually a beginning. It is the bottom, but then it's this beginning of the rising.
Mm-hmm.
And he maintains you can't have ascent without descent. And I'm not as sure as Logan and Richard Rohr are, but they're wiser than me, so I'll just go with it.
I don't know. I kind of agree with you to a degree. It's perplexing.
It
Like,
is,
there's parts
yeah.
of it that I think work, and there are other parts of it that I'm like, I don't know if this works in every area. And the part of it I wonder, and this is a question, is sometimes it's the systems that are around us that make that hard. And maybe the ascent and descent is based upon an ideal,
Right.
not a lived reality. Did you have any?
You were talking about whether or not perplexity is necessary for harmony. I kind of started thinking about the actual like musical terms that we're kind of dealing with here when it comes to harmony and things like that. To me, from what I understand of stage 1 and 2, a lot of it's kind of in unison. Like there may be one predominant note that is the way of thinking in a certain community. And to me, when you get to perplexity, you start hearing notes that maybe don't fit into the key very well. Things that, you know, are just entirely discordant and out there, but maybe you like that note a little better. And you kind of start going on that line for a little while. And I think to really get harmony, you need to get into that diversity of thought and that confusion and figuring out all of these chords and all of that and how they all work together in order to actually find something that can blend, I guess. It's a little bit of a half-baked thought, but that's kind of what I think.
I love that. And in fact, I sort of wanted to end here. I'm not sure that, I know that I don't have the words. Oh, by the way, this is a math term, but discrete, does everyone know what discrete means? And by that I mean the mathematical discrete. So that doesn't mean doing it where nobody sees it. Discrete mathematics is the mathematics of distinct points. So there's this one, and then this one, and then this one, as opposed to linear, which is like a single line. So this is linear algebra, discrete mathematics is this. Did I say that right? This one. It's about dealing with not continuum, but specific things. What we're dealing with here is not discrete stages. What we're talking about here is this ebb and flow. It's like what Tawana studied mathematically of the different compartments of your body. Some medicine, for instance, going this way and that way. It's all of this movement back and forth. It's not here and here and here and here. It's this movement. And so how we talk about it, I think, at least for me, words fail. I don't know how to talk about really stage 3 and 4. I can talk about stage 1 and 2 pretty well. But stage 3 and 4, I'm not really sure how to talk about it. And so where words fail, art, I think, takes up. And so, Andrew, to your point, I think music can help us understand in a way that words can't. And so I'm going to do a little art, even though it's words art. This is from a poem by Wordsworth. As most of you probably know, Wordsworth was one of the transcendentalists, late 1800s and early 1900s, along with Emerson and Longfellow. Wordsworth is sort of one of our poets. Right? If we have a church poet that we would go for, it's probably Wordsworth. So I'm going to read you just a few lines from a poem. With an eye made quiet by the power of harmony and the deep power of joy, we see into the life of things. If this be but a vain belief, a sense sublime of something far more deeply interfused, whose dwelling is the light of setting suns, and the round ocean and the living air, the blue sky and in the mind of man, a motion and a spirit that impels all thinking things, all objects of all thought, and rolls through all things.
try to stand my ground, I try to understand, but I can't seem to find my way again. Like water on the sand, grasping at the wind, I keep on falling short. So please be my strength, please be my strength, 'cause I don't have any more. I don't have any more. Looking for a place where I can plant my faith. One thing I know for sure, 'cause I cannot create it, and I cannot sustain it. It's your love that's keeping me. So please be my strength, please be my strength, 'cause I don't have any more. No, I don't have any more. And at my final breath, I hope that I can say I fought the good fight of faith. So let your glory shine in this doubting heart of mine. No, I will know that you are my strength. You are my strength, 'cause I don't have any more. Well, I don't have any more. Oh, you are my strength. You are my strength. You and you alone, bring me back home. You and you alone, keep bringing me back home.
Now we're going to take communion together, so if you would, you could go back and get juice and cracker. And we do this as a part of the body of Christ. So, you get those? Good enough. that's taken as the body of Christ, believing that God themselves are in you, are in each other, and that as such we can see them by looking at each other. And we drink this as a stream of life which flows through each of us, flows through the Godhead. And it's the stream of love. Amen. So good to be with you all today. Wow. Thank you. Thanks for being here. This only works if we do this together. Again, not unity of belief, but unity of love, unity of relationship, of learning from each other, hearing each other. That was a great line, hearing each other. So thanks so much. What are announcements we need to make?
August 18th, on all streaming platforms, the first single of our EP will be released. And just so y'all know, you ain't ready, because it's pretty dope, pretty good. But just for that,
I just didn't expect you to say it.
a lot of the legwork for that will be on people sharing and all that kind of stuff. We do have social media if you want to follow us. And if you are not in a place where you don't want people to know that you go to church here, because I know that there are people that are like that, but if you're not one of those people, please share our stuff. Because that's going to be how we get listens. And we will actually garner funds from this for people who download it and stuff like that. That will live up the church out. So share it.
What you learned as a 2-year-old, share.
So that's all.
Great. What else? You mentioned something that we're supposed to remember for sure. Oh, Lean, Kentucky. I don't remember when it is. So there are 2 events that we'd love to have buy-in from people. One is Lean, Kentucky. I think it's in September sometime. This is an organization that gets food from gardens, leftover food from Kroger, from stores, and provide it to people that need it. And so it's a wonderful organization. It was actually made up, founded by one of our people at Beaumont, Erica, if you know her from Beaumont. And the other one is Fall Festival, Family Festival. And we have a couple of people that are ready to lead the charge on that, and I'm so happy about it. Can I say who you are? So Dani and Renee are going to lead us in that charge, and they're going to need a lot of people involved. This is going to be a pretty big event for us, and it's September, is that the 30th? Is that a Saturday? Whatever that last Saturday of September is. The 30th. The rain date is on the 7th of October. So would you even now put that in your calendar so that we can, we really want to support this. This is a way that we can love our neighborhood, love people around here. All right.
Did we mention the rally day?
Oh, great. Rally Day. So these is the next 2 Sundays. Then on August 20th is Rally Day. And we'll meet with Beaumont at 11, but then we're also going to meet together at 3:30. But in there, in Pride Hall.
We actually will this time.
And we really will be there.
We'll
So,
be here.
we will really be here, that's right. And so if you would, that's August 20th, those 2 times. It'd be great if you could come at 11 and at 3:30. All right. Anything else? Oh, the what?
Birthday week.
Oh, this is birthday week at our house for sure. So Michelle's birthday is tomorrow. Kristen's birthday is Friday. Mine's Saturday. Anybody else have a birthday this coming week?
Wednesday.
Wednesday? Wow. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Oh yeah. Very good. And Sean, you go ahead and then I'll add one more.
And when do you leave for your trips?
I leave for my trip on my birthday, August 5th.
And won't be back till when?
And so I get back on the 14th, where Tawana and I are headed to Alaska.
Be careful in Alaska.
Yeah, we're
It's too close to Russia.
this one's a little tricky of a trip for us. We're going to swim there.
I hear there's bears.
And,
There's a lot of people going missing.
yeah, it's really dangerous these days. So.
You can see Russia from Sarah Palin's front porch.
Yeah, really. Be careful.
So this has been all over my news feed. I don't know how many of you have seen this. How many of you have seen the new Tyler Childers video? Okay. Tyler Childers is a country singer who just released a song. The video the script was written by Silas House, who is just an extraordinary author. So it's basically the story of 2 men, they're coal miners that have fallen in love. And it's a real tearjerker. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. Maybe we should show it. It's like 3 or 4 minutes after everybody's done. So that's one bit of good music news coming from country music in response to Jason Aldean's racist on trying that in a small town. The other thing, I don't know how many of you heard about this, there's apparently a Christian drag queen named Flamey Grant. Apparently has the #1 Christian album right now. So if you haven't heard of that, check that out. Flamey Grant. I think Derek Webb sang with her on the album. And the singer from Plum, who's a Christian band from way back. Before most of you, probably before a lot of you were even born. But a couple of good things going on in music to check out.
Great, thank you so much, Charles. Anything else from anyone? Anything else being released in the next? Zoe, you all have anything being released soon?
Yeah, next month we have a couple songs coming.
A couple songs next month from Fighting Futures.
Yeah.
We want to keep everybody we have so many artists in our church. Thanks for the band today, that was great.
That was a wonderful band.
Yeah.
Another hoorah for the band.
Yeah. Thank you all.
This is it. Well, we're not really a hoorah kind of crowd.
It really helps all of us. Again, if we're going to do this harmony thing, that's where we want to head. Again, not a discrete place. We want to become more and more in tune with what we believe is the Holy Spirit. And in the way we love people and the way we love each other. Boy, that sounds like a commune, doesn't it? Maybe that's not. Anyway, we want the art to be known. So keep that this one. Harper, do you have an answer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a song coming out. It's taking a lot of time for me to explain it because me and my friends
band basically don't really get together. We just go over to her house and we're just like, song, what song? I have one. And she's like, okay, we're on some instruments. But it's called Nowhere to Hide. It's about anxiety and how people feel and how they, and I have a transgender friend that got disowned by their parents and is now living with their grandparents. So that song is mostly about them and me because we've been like this forever and I don't want to lose them. So yeah, it's coming out soon. I hope I can say it for you.
Also, August 19th and 20th, that's Saturday and Sunday, the horse will be set up at the Woodland Park Art Festival here in Lexington. So come out and see us, get to see all of our quilt work and visit for a while. August 19th and 20th.
Yeah, Dolores is one of our premier artists. Just terrific art, wonderful work. Yeah, go on the Saturday, the 19th, it'd be great. Anything else? All right, love you all. Matthew.
Yeah, really.
What?
The next month,
Wait.
do I really need that?
Yeah.
He's not enough.
As you know, this month coming up, there's going to be a lot of walks for different things. I'm doing a 62-mile walk for soldiers against suicide, soldiers who have committed suicide, and for the families of them, and to help get more resources for the government to help these guys who have come back and have, just totally can't handle civilian life anymore. And that's like 70% of them just can't do it anymore. So I'm doing a walk for that. If you want to contribute, see me. I can send it to my page on Facebook. Look at it.
I'll be down.
Well, one of them is we have a friend that came back a little wonky, but also because I served too. So that's one of the things it's in my heart to do.
But his parents kicked him out, and he was homeless for about 12 hours. And 12 hours because my daughter found out he was homeless. She said, "We can't have that. We can't. You don't." And we took him in, and he lived with us for about 6 months until VA found him a place. But he's very unstable, and we try to help him. And these vets, they've given so much for us, and it's the least we can do to try to help them.
Great. Thank you. What's the name of your Facebook? Just Matthew Mann?
Yeah.
Matthew Mann. M-A-N-N. And so we can access that through your Facebook. All right. Great. So good to be with you all. Love you all. Have a great week.